What we're going to talk about is absolutely insane. This is history books type stuff. So video has been released. CNN broke the news, but this footage was captured by a documentary crew that was following around Trump ally and former advisor Roger Stone. And so they were getting this footage, and in it, he so clearly breaks down and lays out what the Trump team's plan is and what they're likely going to do in the 2020 election or after it to try to overturn the results. And at one point he says F voting. At one point he says it's time to start the violence. And so the reason why we got access to this footage is because the January 6th committee requested it, and the footage was turned over, and then CNN was able to also get their hands on it. Incredible, incredible stuff. I can't emphasize that enough. I think because, and I'm about to show you, I promise, but because we've been experiencing this ever since, the 2020 election and talking about all these different individuals and their attempts to overturn the results, you can get a bit numbed out to it, right? You can get a little bit detached from the fact that it is so profound and so scary that this actually took place, that a close ally of the president is talking about before the election how they're going to try to overturn the 2020 election results. And regardless of which way the actual votes go, they're going to claim victory. Take a look.
It's of Roger Stone. This one is on from November 2nd of 2020 on his way home from a Doug Collins rally. This was in Georgia. Let's watch it.
Excellent. The violence. The voting. Let's get right to the violence.
So if you missed it, obviously I had to get bleeped out there, but he's saying F voting. Let's get to violence.
Let's get right to it.
Shoot to kill. See
Shoot to kill.
an Antifa? Shoot to kill. Come. Done with this bullshit.
This other clip shows Roger Stone imploring the people in his orbit how important it is to claim Trump's victory, no matter what, on election night. Here it is.
Awesome.
Let's just hope we're celebrating. I really do suspect it'll still be up in the air. But when that happens, the key thing to do is to claim victory. Possession is 9/10 of the law.
Again, that is exactly what Trump did. If you remember, he came out on election night and said, we were winning this election, and frankly, we did win this election. And that was him doing exactly what Roger Stone, again, a close ally of Trump, was saying was going to happen regardless of the way the results actually went.
No, we won. You. Sorry, over. We won.
Yeah.
You're wrong. You.
ABC.
That was even before a winner was even decided in the 2020 election. Been seen before, and it shows Roger Stone. This is on July 9th, 2020. This was recorded by Stone's assistant during COVID and provided to you. Here it is.
What they're assuming is that the election will be normal. The election will not be normal. Oh, these are the California results? Sorry, we're not accepting them. We're challenging them in court. If the electors show up at the Electoral College, armed guards will throw them out. I'm the president. You. You're not stealing Florida. You're not stealing Ohio. I'm challenging all of it, and the judges we're going to are judges I appointed. You. You're not stealing the election. That's basically what Bush did to Gore. So, if they want to run a bunch of fake ballots, we'll have an investigation. We'll say, these ballots are fake. Yep. Your results are invalidated. Goodbye. That's the way it's going to have to work.
Wow.
It's going to be really nasty.
Wow.
But you cannot count on, we're not going to get an honest election.
Right.
So let's say that Trump is a little behind right now, which he probably is. That doesn't bother me. But even if he wins an honest election, we're not going to have an honest election.
Got it.
Do you understand what's happening? You can even tell within Roger Stone's head, it's not quite lining up correctly, because he goes, it might make sense that Trump's actually behind right now, but in an honest election, but we're not going to have an honest election. It's truly unhinged and scary to see that this man, someone very close with Donald Trump, is comfortable saying the exact plan that would eventually take place.
They're stealing us blind in Florida right now. So, it's not the first time it's happened in this country, and it happens around the world.
Yeah.
So he's going to have to fight for the presidency in the courts. Our next election will be decided in the courts.
Wow.
Because they cheat, and we don't cheat.
Yeah.
We've never cheated.
Okay, so again, as you can tell, he's making very obviously false claims, as we discussed time and time again on this show and using that as the justification to then talk about the plan or talk about what Trump should do. Okay, so he is building this on a basis or building it on a foundation of lies, and then it makes him feel justified in literally outright saying we should steal this election, right? In outright saying that regardless of the results that come in, we're going to try to challenge it. And the only real justification that all of these people have is that Trump lost. That's it. Okay. The only reason why they wanted to challenge the election, the only reason why this election, all of a sudden they're concerned about fraud, is because Trump lost. And many of them knew that he was going to lose. Now, how many of them are genuinely delusional and genuinely think that Trump would have won if it wasn't for all of this hypothetical, mystery voter fraud that isn't able to be proven? I don't know. I really don't. I think about that a lot. How many of the people making the claims are making them just because they don't like the idea of admitting Trump lost, and how many of them actually have gotten convinced into believing that some big election steal happened, right? But regardless, what we're witnessing right now is the orbit around Trump on video talking about trying to overturn a free and fair election. And that is so scary. And the one part that just hit me to the core was F voting. Let's get to the violence. Let's get to the violence. That is so dangerous. And that is the ideology that we scream about time and time again. This is why it's so important in this moment in time that the Republican Party does not prevail, right? Because it is taken over by people who believe F voting is time for violence. Now, this is not to say all conservatives. This is not to say all Republicans. Y'all know my stance on that. There are plenty of people who don't believe in that, and they also, lower taxes or smaller government, right? And that isn't who we're talking about. But kind of like how Biden has been doing, there is a distinction, and the word he uses is MAGA Republicans, or people who are very supportive of Trump and the election lies, who are genuinely getting into the most dangerous territory possible, where they don't believe in the democracy, whether it's because they're buying into the lies genuinely or telling the lies in bad faith. Either way, they don't believe in the democracy, and they believe more in trying to get themselves or get some leader into power, which is incredibly, incredibly dangerous.